everyone. Well, you know who I am. And right here we're looking at something that came from eBay, from the favorite spot. Yes, it's a 1 to 20.3 scale model of a low-side gondola. And it's from the Pacific Coast. It says Pacific Coast on it, which is perfect because this engine it's going with is from the North Pacific Coast, or will be from the North Pacific Coast, the Sonoma. And as you can see, she's a dark brown, sort of burgundy colored locomotive, just like that of the Sonoma. Yeah, a lot of people would say, why get this engine? You've already got a Eureka and Palisade, when in fact, this and the Eureka may be very similar, but they're not exactly the same. There are several differences. The color is darker, also the color of the box. The toolboxes here is darker. Also, the Sonoma doesn't have a footboard, whereas the Eureka does. Also, I'm planning to get a proper mounted Katy coupler to have it body mounted and put it right there. And by using a Bachmann gearbox for a body mount and Katy coupler 930 to make it look more rustic and have it match the color better. So it can connect directly to this freight car. And also, it doesn't have a black tender collar. This is a flat brown tender collar that she's got, this Burgandy engine. And also, yeah, the domes are also this brownish burgundy color. As with the Pilot, as with the wheels and the headlamp. Yes, and the wheels are striped differently too. So this and the Eureka are not the same. They're totally different colors. Also, the cab on this engine is a darker toned brown than that of the Eureka. And honestly, I think this is slightly prettier than that of the Eureka. The Eureka and Palisade is a beautiful locomotive, no doubt, and no doubt the real-life model is real-life engine is more impressive than the model. But when models come, I would say this is prettier. And yeah, I do have decals to make it say Sonoma, so I can yeah, just come out and post it Sonoma and the number 12 on the sand dome, as well as the front number plate here. Unfortunately, I can't decal the tender because that is special lettering. I have to get it a certain size, so the letters North Pacific Coast all fits in this frame here, and also it's gold with a red background. And the same thing with the number 12 when it goes on the back. Yeah, I removed the rear toolbox and the footboard so it looks more like the actual Sonoma. And good thing I removed it before it broke off, because once it breaks off you start gluing it and then it becomes a problem. I learned that the hard way with some of my past engines. Also, I shortened the flagpoles because in real life they're actually shortened and cut off, and they just kept breaking off. So I thought just have them cut short and then pull out the bottom ends with end pliers, and that should do the trick. I also plan to give it a proper steel Pilot with horizontal beams that would go across rather than the traditional vertical that go up and down, to make it more historically accurate. And I have no idea how I am going to fit fenders on this engine. David Fletcher has done an amazing job at that, and also it's been done before on several other models where they add the beautiful fenders around the drive wheels and the Pilot wheels, so that's going to be a challenge. I'm not too worried about shortening the running board because that can be done by using a straight hacksaw. And if done very carefully, it can be smoothened and then painted over with a beautiful gold leaf painting, and this can be very easy to bend. I just need to find something to represent a crosshead pump, and that can be done. I've already started on the right side. Yeah. I took the injector out and I've begun bending the piping. I don't have any of the piping there yet because, well, I'm still working on it. I still need to cut the running board and then have it installed. The air pump, I'm not going to do anything about that. I'm not going to remove it or change it because honestly, I think the air pump looks pretty. I love the color. Even though the real-life Sonoma doesn't use an air pump, I still like the way it looks. And besides, how would you expect an engine to run without an air pump? I mean, you can't set your brakes without an air pump. Also, I do need to get the special decal for the beautiful emblem that Sonoma has over here. Also, I plan to paint this a beautiful gloss black on the smoke box, since it's a really dark, beautiful graphite gray, and I do love the color, but it's not historically accurate, so I need to make that a nice gloss black, and that's easy to do, unfortunately, because it's already been done in some ways to separate the smoke box. As you can see, the front metal band is rattling, and normally it's glued on there really hard. Yeah, you can see the gold band is sliding back and forth. That means the smoke box will be easier to separate, and I don't have to pull the whole boiler off. I can just unbolt it from the bottom and just slide the smoke box right off, and then just paint it from there, and then easily reassemble it. It can be done within a day. Even though it's a really easy thing to do, the reason why it would take so long would be the paint would take a while to dry. Yeah, it'll be very easy to do though. The fenders are going to be a challenge, and finding a pilot, that will be a challenge too. I added bell and whistle ropes. As you can see, there's a whistle rope hooked to the whistle arm, whereas when you pull the whistle, when you pull the whistle arm, that pulls and tugs straight on the arm. Pull on the cord, it pulls on the arm, pulls on it, pulls the valve straight down, and that would push on the valve to open the whistle. That's how they were on locomotives like Eureka and Sonoma. I've also got a bell cord. That's pretty cool. To make it look and feel more like an actual steam engine. Also, there is no sound unit in this. I do plan to put a beautiful Phoenix PB11 sound unit in it. And of course, I would put all the switches right here in the front. I wouldn't put them right in the toolboxes because these hinges are very fragile and instantly break. So I glue them shut so they won't break. And I then just put the switches right here, and then I'd put the fireman standing upright in the cab, and the engineer would be on the right hand side. And yeah, we'll go on to the beautiful car. And I will say, I am very impressed. I'm very impressed. Here, I'll give you some better light. I'm very impressed with this car. As you can see underneath, the detail underneath is superb. I'm really impressed with the bogies. Yeah, I'm going to have to glue these bearing hinges shut. But overall, I'm very impressed with the metal bogies. And the cross members here. I spent about $40 on this, and that was a damn good deal. And I spent about right under $300 for the engine. Another darn good deal. Both came from the favorite spot. And as you can see, the detail here, it's very crisp. It's very amazing. Yeah, realistic brake handle, and the coupler lift bar. Yeah, just like on a real one. And the springs are authentic. And you can see how this opens. And there are two secures in the bottom, which is also pretty cool. Yeah, Bachmann has really been doing a good job with their Spectrum line. I also really love the burgundy colored bogies on the tender wheels. And honestly, these two together would look amazing. And I just need a boxcar to say Pacific Coast, and a flat car. Then I'd get a caboose. Since this engine didn't really pull a lot of cars, so it would normally pull something like a flat car, a gondola, a boxcar, maybe a tanker as well, then a caboose. But on average, 440s didn't pull any more than 4 or 5 cars, because they didn't really have the muscle that Consolidations or K27 Makotos or even 260 Moguls had. So they couldn't really pull any more than about 4, maybe 5 cars. Whereas a Mogul can probably haul up to 7 or 8 cars. A C16 or C19 can probably haul up to 10, maybe 15. And a K27 can haul up to about 20. Or maybe 25. But 440s, a nice 4 to 5 car train would look pretty nice. And also, this car is wider than that of the engine, and they're both 1:20.3. And this actually looks pretty good in scale. Even though this is larger, it looks somewhat odd, but that's the correct scale. Yeah. Bachmann really does amazing work. Their new 440s and their Spectrum freight cars are amazing. And I really hope, really hope, they do Spectrum passenger cars. Honestly, the big hauler passenger cars they make, they're okay, but they're not the best. I mean, if they used bogies like these and used, if you see how the electrical pickups are mounted on this, if they had the electrical pickups for the lights mounted just like this, it would be perfect. But the electrical pickups, they're mounted right on the flanges, which is bad because that adds more friction, which puts on a load and robs the engine of power. And it can't haul much of that when it's on a grade. So that's sort of a problem, especially for 440s and 260s. Not to mention, the lighting is not very consistent. And also, it squeaks, it doesn't sound too smooth, so, yeah. Honestly, the big haulers, as nice as they are, Spectrum coaches would be much better. Even though they'd be wider, they'd be better in scale, and having about 4 of them would look really nice. I know AccuCraft makes them, but the problem with AccuCraft is not so much the price, it's the weight. It's the weight of the brass. And this thing can probably haul only one AccuCraft coach. And that would be it. It couldn't even haul an AccuCraft coach than a Bachmann caboose. That would be too much for it. Whereas if it were Bachmann with the strong high-quality plastic like this, it could probably haul up to 4 coaches, which was an average load for a 440. Yeah, and in the correct 1:20.3 scale. Carter Brothers, Kimball, McKee, Overton, they'd be pretty nice. And since I do scale narrow gauge, I'm all for that, and I really hope Bachmann takes that in consideration. But so far, they've been doing wonderfully with these freight cars, and this is my first Spectrum freight car, and I'm really pleased to have it, and it goes very beautifully with this Burgandy 440. Well, that's it for now. I plan to take this up to the California Railroad Museum and place this side by side with the real Sonoma and make a comparison and contraction. Well, I'll be running this engine as soon as she gets sound. That's it for now. Chris9017 out.